Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record live at 2 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button, and if you want to submit to be on the show, take a look at the information in the description. So Steven, of course, was one of the guys, or was the guy that we featured on a YouTube video from a few weeks ago where you walked the dog with Andy, right?
Yes, somewhat.
So you've got another hand here from that session here from Live at the Bike. Is that right? Not from Live at the Bike, but from at the Bike. Is that right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
it happened before the hand with Andy.
Okay, so it happened before the hand with Andy. Okay, cool. So set this up for us.
Okay, so I was sitting in a 10-20 game, which I'd never played that big before,
Okay.
where five-handed with my friend and I and three regulars, shall we say.
Yep.
And hands are going very quickly, and I'm bleeding off chips pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I'm down about 400.
Okay.
And a player, Keefe, came in.
Yep.
And he said that he had been playing at the Commerce and was up about 10K
Okay.
and sat down in the game. And this was either his first or second hand in the game.
Now this is Keefe, Keefe. So some people might not be 100% because he hasn't played in quite some time, right? Or he hasn't played on Live at the Bike in quite some time. So this is Keefe. He's a little Asian dude, and you've got Andy, and you've got Ryan Feldman, and you've got D'Antonio Alex, right, at the table.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah,
Okay,
they're in
cool.
the game.
So here's down. And how deep are you guys?
Well, everybody's got me covered.
Okay.
I've got 2,600.
2,600. Okay, cool.
And Keith, I've seen him play on live at the Bike. This was 3 years ago. I had seen him play and knew that there's no top and no bottom to his range.
Okay.
So he was, I believe he was under the gun.
Okay.
And he opened for 60.
Okay.
The next player folded. I was in middle position, which is the same as the cutoff with six people. And I had ace queen off. I thought about three betting, but was not prepared to call a four bet.
Okay.
So I just called.
So just call. So Keefe opens to 60, and Hero just calls in mid position with ace queen offsuit. And you said you're like five-handed, right? 5 or 6-handed right now, something like that.
We're six-handed.
Six-handed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the three people behind all fold.
Right. Okay.
So we go and there's 150 in the pot.
Yep.
We go to a flop of queen, 8.
Queen, 8. So you decide to flat with ace queen offsuit against Keefe, Keefe, his opening range. Now, you are an older gentleman, right? I know that you were 78 or 79 when this happened. Some people are saying, "Oh, why didn't you just
79? Yeah.
79? Had you aged 1 year between the last hand, or you were 79 during the last hand too?"
No, I was 79. I was 79 then.
Yeah, you were 79
I'm
then.
82 now.
And you're 82 now. Oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, five-handed, you're basically like in essence like in the cutoff, I would say, right? Because and people are saying, well, why don't you just three bet the hand? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you definitely could three bet the hand, especially if there's somebody obviously behind you on the button. But if anybody listened to the call that we had before, sometimes older players get too much credit in the sense that if they breathe on the pot, they will just get a bunch of folds, and sometimes you want to allow people to come in. So I mean that's the case sometimes for flatting. So you go heads up, and the board comes out queen 8 rainbow, and you have ace queen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And despite what I expected, Keefe checks.
Okay.
Because he'd taken control of the hand, and I expected him to c-bet.
Mm-hmm.
So
he
when
checks.
he checked,
Yep.
I decided to bet, and bet about 2/3 pot, 110.
Okay, so check, hero bets 110. Okay. And I honestly, I mean, you could probably go either way with this. I mean, you could probably either check it back. Maybe he thinks that you've missed something. Or, you could bet really, really small. I tend to like roping them in. I tend to like what you did, sort of walking the dog a little bit from last call, where I very well might check this one back. But okay, you bet 110.
And he calls.
Okay, so he calls, so that's good. So now it's
So now the
270
pot is
or
370.
Yep.
And the turn is an ace.
Oh wow. Okay. So you've got a full house.
Yes.
Okay.
He checked again,
Okay.
and I did a similar type bet of 220.
So now you bet sort of in between. That's interesting. 220. What did you think that Keefe had when he check called the flop? Steven.
The problem is trying to put him on a hand is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him play recklessly.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him jam 5K with a 7-deuce off.
Right, right.
So I'm hoping he's going to do something like that to me.
So you're actually right. So you're betting to try to get raised here, basically on the turn. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
I just tend to think that when you have the whole board covered, if I were you, again with that image, that I might do a little more roping here, or like you call it, like walking the dog. Because yes, it's possible that he may have check called with ace high on the flop. You obviously have an ace in your hand, so it's less likely when an ace comes on the turn that actually helped his hand, because you have an ace. You have an unbeatable hand, and that's not necessarily a reason to slow play like some people think, but I just wonder if there's some cases where a guy like this, and I was kind of familiar with him, might be sort of check calling you to take it away later on in the hand. And by betting here on what would seem to be a scare card, if you held like pocket nines, pocket tens, you just kind of let him off the hook. Like he might just fold. Whereas if you checked this back, so if you bet the flop and checked back the turn, well, he would think, oh, well, this guy doesn't have a queen, right? He would continue to bet the turn. This guy's scared of the ace. I'm going to take the bullshit 5-6 suited that I've called the flop with as a float on queen, queen, 8, and I'm going to bluff the river. That might be the way that I think about it. So I might, if I was in your spot, have either checked back the flop, or if I bet the flop, I might check back the turn and then raise the river. But you bet 220, okay? And now what did he do?
He made it 1,200.
He raised to 1,200. Wow. Raised to 1,200. Okay. Well, I mean,
the only hand I'm losing to is pocket aces.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, obviously it's hard to screw this hand up now, but when he makes it 1,200, if you just call, the pot's going to be like maybe right around 3,000, and you've got maybe another, say, 12 or 1,300 left. I actually don't see a point in shoving here, Steven. I mean, listen, you can shove here. It can't be that bad. You only have like 1,000 or 1,100 left in your stack if you started with 26. And, well, you guys have put in, what, maybe 200. You have 24. You'd have about 1,200 left in your stack if you shoved all in. And, you know, the pot would be like, what is it, 6, 18. You know, he'd be getting like 4 to 1. But he might be one of these young hotshots that just can't help himself. And even if you just call, we know there's probably no hand that you're going to call and then fold to a river raise. If you leave yourself with 1,200, he might continue on with some asinine bluff and bluff his stack off to you. That's maybe the way that I'd be thinking about this spot, where I might just call.
Yeah, it's just that I can never call off half my stack.
Why not, though? You mean because it looks like because you're never gonna fold? You mean, right? Once you call it off, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you would think that some of these young guys would be smart enough to figure that out. I might go so far as to say is this particular villain might not, because I've seen him run some ridiculous bluffs before where it's like, Keefe, the guy doesn't have any more money left. Of course he's going to call, but you're just going to bluff it off anyways. He check raised the turn. You check raised him on the turn, and he called your 1,200, and he only has 1,100 left. Do you think he's really going to fold when you raise with Jack 10 offsuit, when you turn like a double gutter on the turn, when the river's a deuce, but he just does it anyways. Whereas if you just shove now, he might fold that hand. It sounded to me like maybe you shoved, Steven. Did you shove?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, that can't be that bad. What happened? So you shove.
He calls.
Yeah.
And he turns over Queen 10 suited.
So he's drawing dead to a chop.
Yeah.
That would suck if another ace didn't come out, did it?
No, and ace doesn't help it.
You're right. You would think as a poker trainer that I could read the board. You're right. An ace wouldn't help him because you would win with aces full, right? He's drawing dead.
The only thing that helps him is if the deck is fouled and some fouled card.
Right. The only thing that helps him is if another queen comes at the end. And the deck is no good. So that got you off to your win, right? And then you had the hand with Andy.
Yeah.
So do you think, would you have played this hand differently in any way, like looking back at it?
I really don't think so.
Okay.
Because it's against any other player, yes.
Mm-hmm. But not against him.
After he just sat down talking about the fact that he just won 10K.
Oh, you think he's just gonna? Yeah, I like I said. I mean, I don't know the next time you go to LA, and we talked about this before, that this is probably not maybe the safest thing for anybody to do, but much less an 82-year-old to go back to live poker. But I will say, when I was younger, I would look at sort of an older player and be like, well, this guy's going to be weak tight. If he puts pressure on me, I'm probably going to fold. So those guys would sometimes trap me. Now, I probably wouldn't make a maniacal bet like a Keefe or something like that and do something crazy stupid. But, it's possible that, that he might have done something sort of out to left field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't see. I didn't see on the river how he could fold if he could make that raise.
Anyway, Steven, I appreciate it. I hope you call back with some more hands too, as well. Everybody loved the last one that you did, so thanks for the call. If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this call-in hand, hit the like button down below. To check out crushlivepoker.com, click on the link in the description. Use the code YTA300 to get the first 30 days for free.